Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades, and I'm back for part 2 of making a clock out of a vinyl record. This dried nicely, the resin has cured, and I love the way it looks. Have my clockworks here ready, and we're going to add this along with these clock hands here and these numbers. So I think that this will really complement the design. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off the tape that was covering the hole, and there is a little bit of resin there, but it's not very thick, so I think it will come out pretty easily using my X-Acto knife. So we're going to start with this anyway, before I bring out the heavy duty stuff. And it worked out just fine to remove the resin. Now I just have to keep working on it until the shaft of the clock parts will easily slide through the hole of the record. And it's not quite there. The part that holds the clock hands goes in easily, but the rest of it does not. So I'm going to continue working on this until I have it just right. And there you do. I'm going to show you. The shaft is all the way in there properly. It's flush against the back of the record, just the way it's supposed to be. And these are the little parts that actually holds the clock part to the surface of your clock. And we'll get them all out here. There's a couple washers, a couple little nuts. And it says to start with this rubber washer first. And since I'm not adding a clock face to it, I'm going to go ahead and get these hands ready. And the next thing I have to do is add this little brass washer, and then this little nut, and tighten that down. And you're not supposed to tighten it too tight at this point. Just kind of finger tightened. And then next I have to add the hour hand, and you just put it on the top part of the shaft until it will no further go down, and then you turn it to 12 o'clock, and I want my 12 o'clock right there. I'm going to go ahead and mark my spot here at the top so that as I work my way around with the rest of the numbers, then I'll know where 12 o'clock is at. And then we'll work with the minute hand. And this one doesn't really, I mean, you can push it down till it doesn't go any further, but it doesn't really like lock into place until you add the nut on top of it. Even though the instructions say push until you can push no further, it doesn't really, it just sits there. And then you will add the little nut right here, and this is very tedious, trying to get it just right onto there, and then it's so small, trying to tighten it down, but it is doable. Just have to work with it a little bit. There we go. And then you take the second hand and you just push it down into the shaft. There's a little hole on the bottom side of the second hand that slides right down over the top of it. And there you have it. So I'm going to start adding the rest of the numbers. We'll go ahead and start with 12 and finish that first, because that's going to be something I'm going to need here in a minute. And then we'll add the 6 directly below. I'm going to get my 12, 3, 6, and 9 on here before I fill in the rest. It would just make it easier to find where the other hour numbers go. And these numbers are adhesive on the back. So 3 is done, and we're going to get 9 done. You can move them fairly easily until you press them down really hard, and once you've pressed them on there, they are hard to get off. Which is basically what you want, but nonetheless. And now I'm just going to tighten the very first nut that I put on that actually holds the clock parts to the record. And I'm not going to over tighten it, but I do need to tighten it up so that when you turn the hands, that the whole clock part itself does not turn. So right now I'm looking for 1 o'clock. And we're going to use this ruler to help kind of guide where the point place is supposed to be. And then just add the number. There you go. Number 2. I think it's turning out pretty cute. Moving right on to number 4. And this is not hard to do at all. Adding this right here is pretty straightforward. Just follow your instructions. It's on the back of your packages. Now, I have not shown you to this point. I didn't realize that when I was taking the numbers apart that I was off camera. So I'm just using these scissors to remove the numbers from the little bar that they come on. It's very easily removed. I did try to just break them off, and it takes a little more work to do that, so cutting them is much simpler. And if you end up with a little nub on the end like this, you just take your scissors and snip it off, and there you have it. It's all good. We'll get number 7 on here. And it might not be necessary to use this ruler if you're doing it. You might have a better eye at getting it the precise place it needs to be. I just like to be more accurate. My eyes are old. So now we're putting the 8 on. Trying to make sure that as I go around they are all straight, but you'll see here in just a second that I did have to readjust the 10 because from my viewpoint it was straight, but when I held up the clock afterwards I realized that it indeed was just slightly crooked. I was going more with the curve of the record than paying attention to how straight it needed to be with the other numbers. I took it off and redid it. There, see, that's better. Now we'll do number 11. Last but not least. Working with 2 is a little bit different, but it's very, very easily to correct it if you need to. And there you have it. The finished clock. Isn't she pretty? So I'm just going to remove the tape off the back that protected it from the resin overflow. And there are little driplets back there, but it is on the tape. And when you pull the tape off, those little driplets come right off with it. And it's all done. Just gotta add the battery. So I hope you've enjoyed this little project, and I want to thank you for watching. Please click like and share. You help my channel grow when you do so. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell for future projects. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. And all the descriptions of what I use is in the description box, along with the link where this will be placed in my Etsy shop for sale. And I hope that you will join me again on my next creative escapades. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.